Okay, guys, today is going to be an exciting day. Oh, I better get my script here open. Brian, let me know how much time we have. But today we're going to create some plans for our future. April 5th, we're going to be giving away tickets, and I hope that you will take advantage and win. Today we're talking with Paul Kennamer and Merrilee Jacobs.
The Lillian McDermott
So fasten your seatbelts because we're not going to eat you alive, but we're going to figure out what's eating you alive. Okay, it's time to dance, guys. We get to see you now. Come on, Paul. Come on, Paul. You can do it. There you go. You have to beat Rip Ethelston. He will really dance. There you go.
Right here, and when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
Okay.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, the purpose of the show is to provide a safe place to go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening as well as my viewing friends, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now today, I'm going to tell you right now, the 20th caller or texter will win 2 tickets. These tickets are very valuable and will change your life to go see the theatrical debut of the documentary Eating You Alive on April 5th. I'm really excited because the 20th caller or texter will win 2 tickets, you and your loved one, to change your life forever. I'm not kidding. This is the honest truth about this documentary, one that I have featured on my show not only 3 times with Paul and Merrilee, but I've also invited many of the doctors who have been on this video, this documentary, that is life-changing. Be the 20th caller to leave a message. I will not answer the phone. So this is not the kind where you call and did I win? Did I win? Did I win? No. You call, leave a message, then keep trying or have somebody else call, whatever it is, whatever combination, the 20th caller or texter at 407-373-5959. Today, we have Paul Kennamer and Merrilee Jacobs. Paul is the director of the documentary Eating You Alive, and together they co-produced, and let me tell you what, they form a united front. They are so united together today as we are going to talk about Eating You Alive. We're going to mention how their life has changed, what this event on April 5th that I'm hoping that all of you will create an event at your theater. If you're listening to me nationwide, because I know I'm heard worldwide, nationwide, I want to challenge every single one of you to create an event. And we're going to talk about that as well. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am grateful to Paul Kennamer and Merrilee Jacobs for being on the Lillian McDermott Radio Show. Thank you for being on the show today, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so I know that there is some incredible stuff going on. And real quick, we'll start with you, Merrilee. Share a little bit about this journey with you when it comes to Eating You Alive, the documentary, what it's about. Mm-hmm. And then, Paul, I want to ask you how it's changed your life as well. So let's start with you, Merrilee. How has Eating You Alive, the documentary, changed your life?
Wow. Well, first of all, the documentary changed our lives. And before it was a documentary, the message of whole plant foods reversing disease is what intrigued us. We tried it. and then experience such dramatic results, it's like, why doesn't everyone know this?
Mm-hmm.
And at that point in time, we really felt compelled and a responsibility to share the information in any way that we knew how to do that. And obviously, since we tell stories every day, it seemed like this was a natural fit. So we jumped in, and I'm not sure if we knew what we were getting into at the beginning, if we would have gone down this road. I mean, there have been thousands and thousands and thousands of hours invested, time and money, and road, miles traveled. And it's just been all consuming, honestly. The experience has been all consuming for the last 3 years.
Yes. And what about with you, Paul? Well, how has it changed your life from start to finish?
Well, I mean, it's first of all, it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done. Yeah, I'm not finished. It's every day it changes. It's changing my life every day. I'm getting healthier. To go from my background of eating meat with every meal, and my father having triple bypass and all the different issues he had with cardiovascular disease, and then watching my mom reverse her disease and following this diet, it's changed my life.
Very good. Did you think that starting this project that it would change your life, or did you take it lightheartedly at the beginning and then decided that this was something that you needed to?
Well, the project, it's like Merrilee said, I kind of started living the lifestyle before we ever made the documentary. So
Mm-hmm.
Before we made the documentary, when I first changed to the lifestyle, I didn't believe it at all. I didn't think it would impact me that much. I just thought, well, what does it hurt to try? So I just gave it a shot. But then once I saw these changes happen so quickly, then I realized we've got to tell the story. And so it's changed our lives.
Well, the key word here is quickly. I think many of us try yo-yo dieting, quick fixes, something that has taken us a lifetime to create in our body. They want a quick solution, and then it seems impossible to attain because what they're doing is unobtainable. It's unsustainable. So today, my listening friends, we are talking with Paul Kennamer and Merrilee Jacobs. And today we're giving away 2 tickets to the national theatrical debut. 407-373-5959. That's 407-373-5959. Be the 20th caller or texter. Please leave a message because I will not answer the phone. And we're going to continue our conversation worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Okay, so I get all these people calling and they don't leave a message because they think I'm going to pick up the phone. So that's why I have to be so specific. I don't pick up the phone because I am talking to you guys. So honestly, when you think about the changes, when we had, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. We just had her on the show. Angela. Okay. So Angela, she said that on the 11th day, she woke up feeling great. Prior to that, she was grumpy and wasn't a good company. Paul, did you experience that as well?
A little bit of weakness. I never had the headaches very much, but just a few little aspects of being fatigued. And I think I had just become this chronic overeater. And so I had a little bit of that going on. A lot of changes in your system as far as when you start eating beans and fiber, you have a little bit more gas than normal. So those things were pretty
embarrassing.
They were private time at the beginning. But anyway, you created your own private time because you left the room, but because you start feeling pain. But anyway, but seriously, it was those changes, mild changes, but literally after the first week or so, I was doing good.
Very good. Some people excuse themselves to smoke. Paul excuses himself to mask.
It's like the no crop dusting zone.
Go ahead, Merrilee. I don't know how much time do we have left, Brian? Go ahead.
I said we laugh about that, but the fact of the matter is it wasn't just Paul, it was our whole crew, So it's like it became this unspoken thing that if someone backed away from the group or whatever, don't follow them. There's a reason for that.
The office was literally a Dutch oven. I mean, it was just...
So has everybody kept to eating vegan, or have other people incorporated a different lifestyle but primarily plant-based?
Everyone's gone, no pun intended, but whole hog. I mean, everyone's gone the lifestyle and they stayed that way.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. And have you noticed that there's more camaraderie between you guys, or has that always been that way?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the biggest things about making the changes.
You can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn and grow with one another. Today's teachers are Paul Kennamer and Merrilee Jacobs. And they are, well, Paul's the director, and they are both co-producers of the documentary Eating You Alive. I have spoken about this documentary till I am, I don't know, blueberry on the face. And so what I'd like for you guys to do is write down this date, April 5th. April 5th. We're creating an event, and we'll talk about this event on April 5th soon, because I want you to know what this documentary is about. And before you decide that you want to make this commitment, you may want to hear some of the facts that Merrilee Jacobs and Paul Kennamer have discovered in doing this documentary. So April 5th, we are giving away 2 tickets for their national theatrical debut on April 5th. The number to call is 407-373-5959. Okay, Paul, let's start with, if somebody said, okay, why should I go to this production, or why should I have a video of Eating You Alive? What would you say this documentary is about?
I would say it's about disease reversal. Literally, it's about the fact that you can take your health into your own hands and control your destiny far more than you ever thought you could. That's the message of the film. For me, and I think for our entire team, I was getting to that age where I believed that I was going to start having to take pills, going through the typical things that happen when you start getting into your 50s. And I realized in the process that was not the case at all, that I had a lot more control than I thought I did, and I could reverse those issues.
Okay. And what about you, Merrilee? If somebody came to you and say, well, why should I go to this documentary, this theatrical debut?
I would say you need to go for 2 reasons. Number one, to hear the science, to hear the message from physicians who we daily put our lives and our health literally into their hands. They're the ones we look to for guidance with regards to our health. And so to hear from doctors about how they didn't know this information, they had to learn this for themselves, but how their practices have been regenerated and rejuvenated through the power of food choices, and being able to share that with their patients and watching their patients heal themselves through this is very powerful. So that inspiration, hearing that science, and then hearing, the stories and the journeys of everyday, average, normal, across the fence kind of people like we are who have done it. Because I think oftentimes we think, oh, well, that's good for that person. They may have money because they think it's expensive, or they may have, private chefs, or they may have this and that and the other that makes it easy for them to do it. But for me, I'm not going to be able to have that same experience. Yeah. So this film has lots of stories in it too about people just like us who reverse their diseases, and it's powerful, and so I think for those 2 reasons, hearing the science, hearing the physicians speak about it, and then hearing people just like yourself have these tremendous and phenomenal life-changing results, it's worth the 2 hours that the event's going to last.
Okay, so we talk about reversing, but prevention is key. So let's talk about prevention, Merrilee. As we all are getting older, let's see what you've prevented in your life. What's the history? We believe that this is the next step. Like Paul said, my grandparents had this, my parents before them had that, and we think that we're only doomed. Like Paul just said, I thought this was part of getting older. For you, what do you think you've prevented when you look at your family tree?
When I look at my family tree, it's fraught with heart disease and cancer. More specifically, on both sides of my family, lots and lots of cancer. And to eat this way, it's been proven that it actually, impacts your genes. I mean, it gets down to the cellular level, and genetically it can turn on or turn off cancer depending on what it is that you're eating. And for me to be able to turn off that gene or turn off that environment, create an environment where cancer cannot grow, is a huge relief. That's not something I really have to worry about at this point, even though family members have had. I can prevent that by choosing what I put at the end of my fork. Prevention
is key. Absolutely. You have changed your DNA, so to speak, because now you're no longer a victim of your DNA. You are controlling it. Yes. What about you, Paul? What have you prevented in your future?
It's the same as, like Merrilee was stating. I have my father, and I have a history in my family of heart disease, stroke, just cardiovascular disease, but cancer and diabetes as well. And I feel like with this diet, I've done the same thing. I've turned those genes off. And another thing, as far as genetics, I think we found that we tend to blame everything on genetics, but when we go back and we look at our genes, what we actually find is that the reality of it is families just seem to pass down a lot of things, which most of that is eating.
Yeah, the family recipes.
And so that gets passed down and creates these diseases that we think are, quote, genetic. The reality of it is just like Merrilee said, it's at the end of our fork, and that's what's causing the problem.
Okay, so Paul, let's talk about some of these doctors that are our greatest teachers in this documentary and the people who have made some changes in their lives. I mean, we had Angela Hardin, we've had Dr. Ron Weiss, Dr. Columbus Batiste. I've had a lot of the doctors that are eating you alive. What are some of the doctors that are highlighted? Oh, of course, let's not forget Dr. Bernard and Dr. Furman, who are regulars on my show. But what are some of the doctors that have become greater teachers in this documentary, Eating You Alive?
Well, honestly, one that stands out in my mind, and this is ridiculous, but in Oklahoma City,
Jimmy Conway.
Jimmy Conway, he's a surgeon in Oklahoma City, and honestly, his story was very impactful to me. And he's a great educator as far as he's really reaching out in the Oklahoma City community and teaching people. But it changed his life because, again, he had cardiovascular disease, and he reversed that. Scared his doctor to death. But when he said, no, I don't want to have the surgery, I want to change my diet. And he is just one of the physicians that literally saved his own life by changing to this plant-based lifestyle. Of course, like Merrilee said, something that he was not taught in medical school. But that's one of the doctors in the film, just one of them.
Well, two incidences in the last week of people that have had a heart attack or are exhausted and need a stent or a cath, a cath lab or do all this stuff. And I said, because they said, it looks like this is in my future. And I privately responded, no, it is not in your future. Dr. Joel Fuhrman says that you could have a clogged artery, 99% clogged artery. And if you're not having symptoms, you can start the reversal process. Now, Merrilee, what would you like to add to that?
Well, I wanted to say, to speak to that point directly, Paul's father is in his 80s and reversed his cardiovascular disease. My father had a heart attack about 5 years ago. And the front artery that they could stent, which they did, was like 90% blocked. The back artery, which they could not get to stent, was 85% blocked. And he just went in for his follow-up visit after 5 years, and his cardiologist was amazed because there is nothing. There's no plaque in either of those arteries. It's gone. So there's nothing there anymore. And there's nothing more powerful than, having them run the tests, see the scans and all that type of thing, and seeing nothing there when you had that degree of blockage. It's fun. So,
Well, I want to remind my listeners that the 20th caller, you will get 2 free tickets. In Jacksonville, I will tell you that in Jacksonville, they're having a April 5th at 7 p.m. Of course, there's a nationwide release of this documentary. And so if you don't have it in a theater near you, please ask for it. And we're creating with the Jacksonville vegan couple and the Lillian McDermott radio show, we're creating an event in Tinseltown, USA. That's, I guess, the theater there. And so it's on my Facebook page that we're going to have a dinner, a vegan meal, and then we're going to go watch the documentary together. Anybody who would like to join us, hey, we're giving away 2 free tickets. 407-373-5959, the 20th caller or texter. But there's one in the Avenue 20, Rieger Butler Town Center. And in Brevard County, I looked it up, there's Merritt Island, so the Merritt Square Mall, 16, there's one there. What I want to encourage people to do is create an event. Create an event. And how do we do this, Merrilee? How do we create an event if we're listening to the show, or we find out that there's an event and we want to be able to create something? How do we go about that?
Well, first of all, invite a friend, invite a group, invite your office, coworkers to go do this together. Go find a great place that offers a plant-based meal and enjoy that plant-based meal, and then go together. And for those folks who are in those local areas, who may be health and wellness coaches, who are already plant-based and know how to help other people transition, we're looking for them to be in the theater there, and they will be available to all who attend. To answer questions, to distribute resource material, just to help people get started.
Very good, very good. Any other things? Okay, so the number for that event, the email, if there's an email where we can reach you.
Yes, to email info@eatingyoualive.com.
So
info@eatingyoualive.com.
info@eatingyoualive.com. That's where we need to go to if we want to create an event. And then we get to the local theater to sponsor it or to do this. How much are the tickets, by the way, if people don't win them today?
The tickets, you'll have to go to the links, which you can find at fathomevents.com under Eating You Alive, or you can go to eatingyoualive.com/locations and click on those, and that will take you to a ticket page. They vary because the Fathom events are participating theaters from many different chains. So they all have kind of varying ticket prices and the way they determine a ticket price. So it kind of varies, but I think average is somewhere in the $12 to $12.50 range, a little bit below, a little bit higher than that, but somewhere around that as an average.
Okay, so that's 407-373-5959, the 20th caller or texter. Call, leave a message. I do not answer the phone, so call, leave a message, or text me Eating You Alive tickets. That's what you want. And for those of you who are outside of Jacksonville, this is a nationwide release. Outside of Brevard, this is a nationwide release. If you go to Eating You Alive, you will go to locations like she said, and like Merrilee said, and find out if there's a location near you. And if there's not, Merrilee, what do we do?
There's not, email us at info@eatingyoualive.com. There's still time for a theater to participate if they're so equipped. There's a special kind of equipment they need to have to be a Fathom participating theater, but certainly get in touch with us because, down the road, there'll be private screenings that we can coordinate and that type of thing.
You guys are in this. Did you guys, Paul, when you started this, did you think this is going to be a ministry for you guys?
No, we had no idea. We just went at it because it was a passion project for us. It changed our lives, and we just wanted to share this same information with everyone that we could.
Amazing. This documentary, we gave away some DVDs the last time I think Merrilee was on, and the DVD is different than the actual theatrical release, and that we might have a conversation off the air. So if you want to go to YouTube and listen to the conversation, you're welcome to. The 20th caller or texter, that's 407-373-5959. Be the 20th caller to leave a message or texter, and you will win 2 tickets wherever you live nationwide to go and attend this event on April 5th at 7 p.m. And we're going to continue our conversation with Paul and Merrilee when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. The phone's ringing a lot. And so this is what this DVD that we gave away is different. And so I had mentioned that, and I don't know if you want to mention a little bit about it, why it's different. You don't have to say the details, but just say that it's different.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
That's a really challenging one. There was a story in the original film, the edited version, that was incredibly powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And it was incredibly powerful because you had a gentleman who was 518 pounds, and in the course of about 20 months lost, was it close to 300 of that?
Yeah.
So phenomenal story. There is no disallowing for that kind of a massive transformation. It's really incredible. Sadly, I think we don't often know what's going on behind closed doors and in people's lives. And I think too, in the current climate, just socially, I think we're seeing such heightened aggression and anger and rage. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that in large part, I think it's because of a lot of societal things that are going on. I think we've just been kind of more growing in that way through what we view, what we listen to, and I think what we game with, the kind of games that are developed and played and that type of thing. But I think in addition to all those outside and external forces, I think our poor nutrition, there have been studies that have proven how superior nutrition changes mood, and it changes positivity and outlook. It's like the brain is finally getting what it needs, and so it changes anxiety and depression and anger, and they've done studies that prove this out. And I think we're a nation that's so chronically lacking in nutrition.
But we replace that with pills, that the side effects of these pills cause reactions that we cannot even fathom.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And I think that, unfortunately, in the case of this person, those whatever things were going on led him to make some decisions that had horrific consequences.
Yep, and we can leave it at that. We can leave it at that.
And I think we needed to remove him from that, because our concern was that what he did was so horrific that it would detract from the positive message of the film, and we didn't want people to get caught up in that, because the message of positivity and hope and healing doesn't need anything more to detract from it. There's enough distractions in the world nowadays, so we really wanted to be able to offer that to people without any distractions. And so we edited the film.
I think well done and well said. I believe that something that we all need to be aware is that it's not just about food. Mm-hmm. There's a mind, body, spirit connection. Yes, you can look good on the outside, but unless your insides match your outside, it's not genuine. And that's why I talk about a soul shovel. And my service mark is now, taking out your soul shovel and digging and digging and digging until there's only truth. Sometimes, even if our exterior looks good, if we don't, if our exterior and being good in our exterior, looking good on our exterior detracts from working on our interior, things like this could happen.
That's right. That's absolutely the truth.
And Paul, would you like to add anything to what Merrilee said?
It's really sad, because I don't think it should be a deterrent from the change that the lifestyle made in his life at that time it's been so impactful to people, and I think that's
okay. I appreciate you talking about this. But we're done talking about that.
You can
Paul's even dead. He's
leave her a voicemail.
Here we go.
407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where you can hear us worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. I am your host, Lillian McDermott, and it is my goal that we learn from one another. Go through life with childlike wonder. And want to encourage you to reach out and watch some of the videos that Paul and Merrilee have been in the past at whenyouneedafriend.com, where we talk about the documentary Eating You Alive, how it's changed their lives, how it's changed so many people's lives. And now it's going to have a theatrical debut on April 5th. You get to have 2 free tickets for the 20th caller or texter 407-373-5959. I want to encourage you to go to whenyounneedafriend.com, be a part of this movement. And when you do that, you will get the show sent directly to your phones or your tablets. It also will give you some free gifts. If that's not enough, free gifts as well. And while you're at whenyounneedafriend.com, I ask that you play while you're there. Click on the YouTube videos, subscribe. Click on my social media, like me. Click on all the different things that will allow us to stay connected. And while you're there, I ask that you check out my sponsors. Without my sponsors, this show would not happen. Please work at getting them all taken care of by going to their centers, wherever you can support them like they are supporting the show. Today, we're giving away 2 tickets for the nationwide release of Eating You Alive. And Eating You Alive is going to be airing in your local theater. Hopefully, if not, we'll tell you what to do to get it to air in your local theater on April 5th, 7 p.m. Merrilee, what would you like to add to that?
Now, I was just going to say, this is the largest theatrical release of a plant-based film or a film of this nature in history.
Wow.
So we're asking people to join us and be a part of that. This can be the catalyst for massive change.
And you know what? I truly believe there is a force out there that doesn't want this information out. So we have got to stick together and go and create this event. Mark your calendars, April 5th. This is what is going to change the outcome of what you've been given through your DNA. Now, Paul, I would like for you to encourage somebody that's listening in other places, not just Jacksonville or Brevard County or anywhere that is accessible to the Lillian McDermott radio show. This is going to be on YouTube. It's going to be released worldwide as well. So what do you have to say to them when it comes to maybe they're from a different country? How can they get a hold of a DVD? How do they create an event?
Well, I'll honestly go to eatingyoualive.com, go to info, and we will help you locate something that's in your area. As far as the international markets, that's something that will play later once we get through this nationwide release within the U.S. Then we'll be looking at the international markets. But for now, we're really just dealing strictly more with the U.S. release on the 5th.
Very good. Very good. So Merrilee, go ahead again and share with our listeners that are just tuning in. If there is not a theatrical release near them, what do they need to do?
If there's not a theatrical release near you, just be patient. Reach out to those people that you know that may be near a theater, or maybe make it a weekend, a long weekend, and go join friends and family, that are near a theater and enjoy the experience with them. But if there's not one readily close to you, just be a little bit patient. And sometime in May, we'll be able to coordinate private screenings with you. Once we get past this event, about 30 days out, the DVD will be available for purchase, and we'll be able to coordinate private screening events. But right now, creating and making this event successful in its attendance is going to be a huge win for us as a country, in a big step in reversing our current health crisis. I'm not going to say health care crisis, because it's actually a health crisis that we're in.
Yeah.
And you can be a part of that. Anybody who's listening can be a part of that. And in the meantime, if you're not familiar with the film, go check out Eating You Alive YouTube channel, because there's tons of clips, recipe demos, and sound bites from the doctors talking about this information, and get yourself prepped. And if you want to start without seeing the film, you can always email us at info@eatingyoualive.com. We're happy to coach you and get you started down the road until you have an opportunity to see the film.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, for those of you who live in the Jacksonville area, I am joining forces with a Jax vegan couple. And not only are we creating an event that evening on April 5th, we're going to have a pod in Jacksonville. We're going to have a support group that's going to be the Lillian McDermott radio show plus the Jacksonville pod, so that anybody can join. I've had so many people say to me, how do I get started? This is a fearful thing. Merrilee, what is your advice for someone who says, I want to take this step. Just like Angela said, I was scared. I was scared. Let's talk about that fear and how we can overcome and look beyond the fear to turn that into hope.
I've thought a lot about this because when you think about the things in life that keep you from doing anything, I mean, as a child, what was it that may have kept you from riding a bike, learning how to ride a bike?
Fear of falling.
Yeah. What is it that keeps you from pursuing something in your career?
Moving. Fear of failure.
Up. It's the fear. So we are hampered by fear on so many levels in our lives. And when you look back at the things that you overcame, I mean, obviously you overcame fear. I think most everybody learned how to ride a bike.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously you overcame fear because, everybody is somewhere in a career working towards something and has pushed themselves beyond a limit where they thought that they wouldn't be able to go. And this is no different, and I think the biggest fear here is the fear that what's on the other side is not going to be as enjoyable. It's different. It flies in the face of some family traditions and things, but it doesn't have to. As an example, I didn't grow up eating biscuits and gravy. I understand it's a real Southern thing. I actually came to love biscuits and gravy as an adult when we moved to the South, right? And raised my children on it. And that's one of our favorite meals on a Sunday morning. But I learned how to make biscuits that were healthy, didn't have all the shortening and everything in them, a whole grain, whole flour, and cashew gravy. And now we enjoy that as much as we ever did the other and know that it's not detrimental to us. So some of those family traditions and family favorites, you can actually tweak typically to make good for you. And this isn't all just about eating salads, although I have to tell you now I crave salad more than I ever did before. I love my salads. My salads are usually 6 to 8 cups of food. They're huge in the bowl. I make them in a big mixing bowl. But it's not about that. We eat lasagna and barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
And we have great food. And so I think for the film, to come see the film, I think we communicate that to you. Hopefully by the end of the film, people have a sense that there are some familiar dishes there, and that preparing the food is not horribly time consuming. And so removing some of those fear factors, I think, is key in pushing somebody forward in their decision. But it really comes down to this. How bad do you want to feel good? How bad do you want to be free of disease? How much do you want it? Is there a fire in your belly to live life more fully than you're living it now, to be free of the medications, free of the doctor's visits, free of all of that, free of the fear of dying, which is a huge one.
Yeah.
Fear of not being around to watch your kids and your grandkids grow up and experience life, that joy that comes from that, the fear of not being there for that. How badly do you want to be free from that fear? Because that's the fear that's hampering us, and that's what we need to get beyond. And you can do it.
Yeah, our fear of being sick has to be less than our fear of enjoying life, because there are people that hide behind their illness. Well, I can't do it because of my disease. Mm-hmm. And so now you would eliminate my disease, and now you have to do whatever it takes. Now, Paul, as a man, I want to address the factor that many men have built walls on plaques of you won the 64-ounce club of the steak. What is it like been as a man to give up animal products?
The easiest thing that I thought that'd be so difficult, because again, I identified every meal by the meat, and I thought that'd be a major thing for me, and it was absolutely nothing. It's nothing to give up meat. And the other thing is, we have such we think that when we think protein, we think meat, only to find out that was a complete myth. I mean, yes, you do get protein from meat, but beans and broccoli and all these different sources of protein is you don't need the meat. There's no need for the meat, and I don't miss the meat.
And I want to speak to this because I think this is huge, and a lot of times it's difficult for men to want to talk about, and it's a subject matter that doesn't get discussed. at all. It's like a taboo subject. But the fact is that, there's this perception that to be a manly man, you got to eat your meat.
Yeah.
Well, the sad thing is that eating all that meat is leading to erectile dysfunction.
I know.
Not very manly.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
think about being able to reverse any of those kinds of issues by getting away from the meat.
It gets back to the fact that
Great point. We're going to continue that conversation off the air when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. Remember, 20th caller or texter, 407-373-5959. Win 2 tickets for April 5th debut. And we'll be right here waiting for you. Whoo! Okay. I am so glad you talked about that, because most people don't realize, okay, we're going to hone in on you, Paul.
Okay.
Most men do not realize that the same meat they are encouraged to eat keeps them from being that manly, virile, Yeah.
I should have gone there too. Yeah, it is. It's just amazing because it's such a myth. We've just believed so much advertising. It's crazy.
Yeah. Part of me wants to say, Paul, is that true? But I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, the plumbing it works,
I was interviewing Dr. Esselstyn, and he talked about it.
Yeah.
He goes, they say that meat and everything in moderation, and Dr. Esselstyn is white or black.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, moderation skills.
Yes, and he said, if you want erectile dysfunction in moderation, go ahead and eat your meat.
That's it. Well, that's exactly right. And Andrew Freeman, who's in the film, a cardiologist out in Denver, he makes the point. When they were doing studies, they found that when you get into middle age, men in their 40% of men in their 40s have erectile dysfunction, 50% in 50s, 60% in your 60s, and it kind of goes on up from there. So when you realize that is a result of the accumulation of plaque buildup in our arteries and our blood vessels that supply every organ in our body, it makes total sense. It's a very practical and logical conclusion that you can draw. So what do? Get all that stuff out of your arteries. How do you do that? Stop eating animal products and the added oils. It's that simple.
It gets back to what Merrilee was saying earlier, but we eat our food not from a logical standpoint. We totally eat from an emotional standpoint, because ultimately, if we're eating from a logical standpoint, we all realize that if we eat the crap that most of us eat, we're going to ultimately wind up with our health controlling our time instead of us controlling our time. And because health is going to make time for itself one way or the other. Either we're going to do it every day, or we're going to eat the way that I ate most of my life and wind up like my father did, where his health put him in the hospital, and he was out of commission for weeks at a time. Mm-hmm. So it needs to be more logical. We need to eat more healthy based on our lives, and being a little bit actually more unselfish in the fact that we want to allow our children to have more time with us, our grandkids, to live longer and be able to enjoy the time together and have the mental facilities as we get older to contribute to our grandchildren's lives in the way that we know we all want to. But
yeah, we do. But it's interesting how the medical community has made us believe that as we get older, we get sicker. Absolutely. And we got to end those myths. You guys have some statistics that you've learned about food. So I'd love to share that. And remember, at the end, we know what to do at the end, right? Mm-hmm. Make it the best day. You tell Paul, because it's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while. Merrilee is an expert. She's like a reoccurring guest on the show.
You can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where we always learn and grow with one another. Today we have Merrilee Jacobs and Paul Kennamer. They are co-producers of the documentary Eating You Alive. Paul, the director of the film. I am so honored every time they come on, or anytime a doctor that is, maybe an unknown doctor. You guys found these doctors that just are spreading the good news. For those of you who would like a free copy of 2 free tickets to the national debut of Eating You Alive. This is the national theatrical debut at a local theater near you. Go to eatingyoualive.com and check and see where near you. In Jacksonville, which I was so thrilled, there are 3 theaters that are going to be airing this documentary. Releasing. It's Tinseltown, USA, Jacksonville, Avenue 20, and Regal Butler Town Center. But in Brevard County, where I'm from, it's Merritt Square Mall. The closest other theater is Waterford Lakes, Winter Park Village. And so here's the deal. If you don't call ahead and get your tickets, you need to go to fathomevents.com. That theatrical debut in that theater may not happen. So let's talk about that, Merrilee. What do we need to do to make sure and ensure that that theatrical debut is going to happen near you?
Go on fathomevents.com and get your tickets early. And the other thing is, there are theaters that are selling out quickly. So that's another factor that's at play. In some pockets, I think in Denver and Oklahoma City, there are theaters that are selling out. So it's for whatever reason, if you're making your plans, go ahead, make that decision, call and order them online or stop by the box office. Or if you get a group together, call us or go to the box office and get that group. It's more fun to do things with friends. So we really encourage that.
Isn't that important? Because one of the fears, talk about fear, is getting ostracized by your friends because, oh, you don't eat meat. What do I give you? There's more than that. Come on, don't be so shallow. I know that I took this path a long time ago, and I took the bullets so that you, my listening friend, my viewing friends, you don't have to. I bring this information so that you can either take the pill or take responsibility. So you can take a pill, you can take responsibilities, my registered service mark, and I want to encourage you to get tired of that pill that is not keeping you alive. It's keeping you sick enough to take the next dose. They got you hooked. Most disease is reversible. Do you believe that? Many of you are going to be angry with me and you're going to say that's bull, but it's not. It is absolutely, even if it's whatever you have is you think is irreversible, with food and nutrition, digging in, it's not just about food. It's a mind, body, spirit approach. So don't think that just because you eat vegan, you're going to be healthy. There's other things that you need to deal with as well. I want to encourage you to go to whenyounneedafriend.com or my Facebook page or my group page, which is the Lillian McDermott Radio Show group page, or Lillian's Radio Show on Facebook. I have an invitation for you to come to the April 5th event at Jacksonville. We're going to be meeting at Tinseltown, USA. But before that, we're going to celebrate and share a meal together and then go to the theater together. I am so excited with the Jack's vegan couple. We're going to create this event. Merrilee, I want to, with everything that's going on, oh, by the way, be the 20th caller or texter, 407-373-5959. Show me that you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. 407-373-5959 and get 2 free tickets to this national debut of the documentary Eating You Alive. Now, what has been, since you've done the release of the documentary or the film, what has been a reoccurring theme for you, Merrilee? And I'll ask the same question to Paul. What have people been telling you since this documentary has been completed?
Well, we did some pre-release screenings just to kind of get feedback early on, right when we completed the film. And there has really been nothing more fulfilling than people emailing us and posting on social media that this film was what inspired them to change their lives, and they're sharing with us their lab reports and their doctors visit reports and actually just a commentary on how they're living life now and doing things that they never thought they were going to be able to do again. One gentleman who saw the film in LA when we were there, we met and talked with he and his sister afterwards for quite a while in the lobby, and he jumped in the next day. He was 73 years old, had multiple procedures, heart condition, and had multiple procedures and things. And I check on him every now and again because we dialogued through email, and I check on him, and I hadn't heard from him in a while, so I reached out to him and said, hey, how you're doing? And I was getting a little concerned because it was about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And finally, he emailed me back. He had up and moved to Las Vegas, spent 2 weeks traveling through various parts of Utah and just hiking and doing things that he said he thought that he would never be able to do again.
Wow.
He had been so controlled by his disease. He had lost the zest for life and the ability to be able to be active and enjoy it. And he's moved and is traveling all the time now, and is just, writes us an email and thanks us. The fact of the matter is, it wasn't us. We were only vehicles for the message.
That's
it was
right.
all him, and it was all the choices that he determined to make once he was inspired to make them and had the information that would allow him to make those right choices.
Awesome. What about you, Paul?
Same thing Merrilee said. The idea that we've seen so many people begin to have hope again in their life, and a belief that they're going to live longer and be healthier and be happier. And then we've actually seen we've seen the decisions made, and then we've seen after those decisions are made, then what happens in their life for the next 6 months. It's just amazing because it's so quick, the changes that can happen, the way the body can respond. And so it's just fulfilling. It's just so incredibly fulfilling, more than what we ever hoped for. Again, like we said earlier, it was simply a passion project for us, and something that we just wanted to get the message out that changed our lives, and then to see it kind of filtered down and to see it impacting people like this is just, it's rewarding.
Well, I tell you what, the reversal aspect of this is what people refuse to believe. People, this is how interesting manipulation is. They let you believe that as you get older, you will get sicker. That is a lie. It doesn't need to be this way. And this documentary, I want to tell you, my listening friends and my viewing friends, I've not been paid a dime to promote this documentary. I'm telling you right now, I truly believe that if we all stand up together, we all take a stand, we will change the world. We will change the life of our children. We will change, well, first you change yourself. And when you change yourself, the world around you will change. The documentary, Eating You Alive, be the 20th caller, 407-373-5959. This documentary will change your life. It will be the start of your education, your food education. And April 5th at 7 p.m., nationwide release. Where will you be? Contact fathomevents.com and also info@eatingyoualive to create an event near you. Now, is it too late to add another theater, Merrilee?
It's really not. If there's a group of people that let us know they want it in a theater, that's not showing it, there's a couple of factors. It has to be a Fathom participating theater, and it has to be equipped with the digital broadcast network equipment that they use to broadcast this through all of the participating theaters. So if it's both of those things, then there's no reason not to add it if there's a group of people that are demanding it.
Just reach out to us.
But it's info@eatingyoualive. You can go to eatingyoualive.com to learn more. Also go to my Facebook page, and when you are a subscriber to Lillian McDermott radio show at whenyouneedafriend.com, you will get notifications. We are doing this. We're doing this big, and I want to encourage all of you. Show us that you really want to get healthy by attending this event and educating yourself on April 5th, and that is at 7 p.m. Join us for dinner, create an event near you. Paul and Merrilee, this documentary, I know it's an act of love, but thank you for loving us the way you have.
Thank you.
And to you, my listening friend, what are you going to do? It's now your turn. Instead of watching hours of mindless TV, it's time to be mindful about your nutrition. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Good job. Good job. Okay, so we still have the camera rolling. Anything that you would like to add to our viewing friends before we go?
We look forward to seeing you at the movies.
Yeah, help us make this change the world.
I'm telling you, so many people have emailed me or texted me and said, I wish we would have learned this when we were children. But this is what manipulation is about, in abuse.
It is.
So
And if we really love our children, we talk about how the youth are the future. If we really love our children, we have the responsibility and the obligation to make these decisions and to open ourselves up to learning this information so that we can prevent our children from having to go through some of these same illnesses that they're already developing at very young ages.
It's an act of love towards our children.
Yeah.
And you know what? Our actions are derived by two emotions, love or fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop the fear. And, I created an acronym for fear. It's follow every avenue required to live the life that you desire. Fear, follow every avenue required to live the life that we desire. And the first avenue required is to go see this documentary on April 5th, 2018, because I'm sure that this video is going to be April. Wouldn't it be nice if every year we'd have an April 5th debut of this documentary, because there's going to be people.
Why not? Why not?
Year.
Yeah.
Why not?
Let's see. Let's make that a challenge, Merrilee.
Yeah,
Huh?
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So the 20th caller or texter is going to be the lucky ones today. And so thank you so much, Paul and Merrilee, for your act of love. Thank you for loving me enough to show up today and doing this documentary.
And we thank you for
Thank you for everything you do.
You will be paid back 100 times fold. I know. And to you, my viewers, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to our next conversation.